All right, special JerseyEer episode. On most nights, you're coming here to watch me talk about West Virginia football, West Virginia basketball, West Virginia wrestling, West Virginia baseball in another month. But we are JerseyEer, and we are New Jersey-based alumni of West Virginia, which also means we're New York Giants fans. So I could not resist the urge to talk a little New York Giants football tonight. So the channel will not be like this regularly. We're not going to abandon our West Virginia roots. This show is going to be 99.9.9% West Virginia. But for one night, we're going to talk about the West Virginia Giant connections, and we're going to talk about the new era that is going to be John Harbaugh and how it ties into the Rich Rod era and how both of the programs that we love on JerseyEer, the Giants and West Virginia, are on their way up. To talk about it with me, I have my longtime friend, roommate in college, friend since first grade, who's the biggest Giant fan I know beside myself, Grant Easterday. Grant, how we feeling tonight?
Doing well, fellas. Couldn't be happier.
I knew you were excited. You know, for those who don't know, Grant is a Giant season ticket holder, and he actually lives in the Philadelphia area. So he hears it from those fans, and I guess you're going to have to re-up your tickets tonight for the Giants, Grant.
I'm working on it. I don't know if I'll be able to get all 8 home games next year, but I'm looking to get at least 4 of them.
I think if people have read between the lines the last few episodes, they know we're diehard West Virginia fans, but we're also suffering Giant fans. Amit, when you saw the announcement, what did it feel like?
I felt great because I was actually up for it. I was watching college basketball late night last night. Dropped at like 11:50, and my phone. I was just looking at all the reports, and I was hyped, man. Finally got one of our a guy that we really wanted, I think.
Absolutely. WVU Forrest said, "Let's go Mountaineers." Yes, let's go Mountaineers indeed. Like I said, this channel, we're not gonna go away from West Virginia ever. We're always gonna tie in West Virginia, and the show will remain a West Virginia show. But like I said, for one night, we're gonna talk about the Giants and how similarities these programs are to each other, and how we've been suffering as fans. But I think the best days are to come ahead. Before we do that, if you're a West Virginia fan or a Giants fan at this point, please like and subscribe to the show. We really appreciate all the support. With that being said, you guys ready to get into tonight's show?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, guys. So before we start off, let's talk about the West Virginia Giant connections. I have a few funny stories here. We'll kind of pass this and talk about a few guys that have played for both West Virginia and the Giants, and then we'll keep it moving. So obviously, when I think West Virginia and Giants, I think of Jeff Hostetler. So Jeff Hostetler actually married Don Nehlen's daughter. He's a guy that transferred from Penn State and went to West Virginia and has his roots down there, still lives in West Virginia in Morgantown, I believe. And I love his story. If you ever watch The Football Life on the Giants, it talks a lot about him at West Virginia, and he almost quit football. But then a Phil Simms injury happened, and then he takes over for Phil Simms and wins the dramatic Super Bowl versus the Buffalo Bills. Guys, how much does Jeff Hostetler mean to the Giants-West Virginia connection?
Yeah, I think it's big time. I mean, obviously, he's a West Virginia legend, and then, had a lot of years with the Giants. I believe at least 7, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So, I think pretty cool connection.
Graham, what do you think?
Yeah, to piggyback off what Amit just said, I mean, he's a West Virginia legend, and being a Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Giants is as strong as a connection as possible.
Absolutely. So then the next guy, I have a funny story about the next guy, and that is Sam Huff. So funny story about Sam Huff. I actually got to meet Sam Huff when I was at West Virginia. So I used to host a show in college called the Touchdown City Tailgate. So when I worked for U92, we had a show at the Erickson Alumni Center called the Touchdown City Tailgate. And I got to meet guys like Major Harris and things like that. But I was never more excited to meet Sam Huff. So Sam Huff, he was with his family, and they came up and they enjoyed the show. And they said, "Hey, just a heads up, this is Sam Huff. He's a New York Giants Hall of Famer, and he wants to say hi." And I shook his hand, and I was so excited to meet him, right? And for those who don't know, I always wear a hat on my show. I'm a bald man, right? And Sam Huff's first words to me were, "What happened to your hair?" So that was, that was kind of funny for a Giants and West Virginia Hall of Famer to say that to me, but he was very nice, very kind guy. Guys, Sam Huff, what are your thoughts on Sam Huff?
Yeah, obviously another West Virginia legend. I mean, he won a championship pre-Super Bowl in the 50s. I think it was 56. So it was obviously, part of Giants history as well. So, yeah, pretty cool to see.
Love Sam Huff as well. He was Hall of Famer, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So him being in the Hall of Fame and having played for the Giants and uh, being a West Virginia legend, he's as strong as a connection there as well.
Absolutely. Now, the other guys, it kind of gets a little awkward. So I have a few comments here. Owen Chikarsky, a good friend of mine, said, only thing that could top this news is Kyle Tucker to the Mets.
My man.
Me and Grant would be real excited to admit you're a Mets fan too, right?
I am, yep.
And then he said David Sills was my favorite WVU Giant for a short time. Exciting to watch during the preseason. So let's go there first, right? Let's talk about some David Sills. David Sills, a kid that was recruited out of high school by Lane Kiffin to play quarterback. When he was like 12 years old, he got a scholarship, which kind of like broke the internet at the time. Ended up going to West Virginia, playing quarterback, transferred out to JUCO, and came back to play wide receiver. Guys, David Sills is going to go down as one of my favorite West Virginia receivers of all time. Him and Will Greer were absolutely elite.
Yeah, loved his playmaking ability. Him and Jennings kind of tearing it up on defenses, and loved Sills. Obviously, he's kind of known for that big catch against Arizona State in that bowl game as well. And I was excited to see him with the Giants. I mean, he was making a lot of plays in camp and stuff, and really wanted to see him emerge. But he's doing some good things with the Falcons now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's really cool to see Sills stick to football, and he's made some money doing it, and now he's actually getting in games and scoring touchdowns and being a productive player. So shout out to David Sills. He'll definitely go down as one of my favorites. Grant, what's your opinion on David Sills?
Oh, I love David Sills. He was obviously a big part of that West Virginia team that went down and beat Texas when Will Greer was the quarterback, and I was in attendance for that game. So that holds a special place in my heart. And David Sills was great for the Mountaineers, and it was very cool to watch him play for the Giants for a couple of years, even though it didn't pan out. As we're gonna get into, the Giants had some dark years, and he was here for them. But I love David Sills. He's a great Mountaineer, and I wish him the best in his NFL career.
So, Grant, my question to you, as a Giant season ticket holder, you've been to a lot of sporting events. Where does that Texas-West Virginia game rank in all-time games that you've attended?
I actually would have to say the only one that was better was one we attended together. The NLCS Mets Cubs game was my favorite, but the West Virginia Texas game is second. In Texas, on the road, hostile environment, 2-point conversion for the win. That was as cool as a game as I've ever been to.
Absolutely. And then, my next point on these next guys is sometimes it gets awkward when the West Virginia Giant connection happens, right? So let's talk about Geno Smith first. So Geno Smith is a guy that we saw around campus all the time. We were there during his time. We have very fond memories of West Virginia when he was there. And we're going to get into those memories in a bit. But he goes to the Giants, right? He goes to the Jets and had a promising career, it seemed like. Got punched in the face over owing somebody money. Had a backup for the Chargers a little bit, then comes to the Giants. And then it was just a tough time to be a West Virginia and Giants fan. And here's why. We loved Eli Manning. He was our cherished guy. And it got awkward as a West Virginia fan when Ben McAdoo decides, hey, we're going to pull the plug on Eli Manning. He's struggling. We're going to give Geno a shot. The Giant fans did not like that. And for me, as a fan, I was torn. I love Eli, but at the same time, I was super excited to see Geno get a shot. Guys, what do you remember about that decision by the Giants, and how awkward was it to be a Giants fan when that happened?
Yeah, I think the Giants fans were going crazy because the streak of Eli Manning starting it was broken by Geno Smith. So I remember the fan base just going insane. I believe the game was against the Raiders where Geno made the start. Yeah. And, it's kind of just a tough predicament for Geno, I'm sure, as well, right? I mean, you're trying to do the best you can, and then the whole fan base is kind of against you because you're breaking the streak that Eli had. So.
I think the Giants ownership was so mad that that was Ben McAdoo's last game, and he made the playoffs the year before. Grant, what do you remember about that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember a lot of the diehard Giants fans. They're looking at me and you and Amit, I'm sure, with open arms, like, what the heck? What the heck? Why are we doing this? Like, it's our fault. But uh, I love Gino, and I was supportive of him in that moment, even though it didn't seem like the right thing to do. I was still hoping for success for our guy. Um, Now, do I think it was the right decision in hindsight? Probably not. Eli's the Giants legend, even more so than uh, Gino probably is a West Virginia one, right? But
Yeah,
um,
that's safe to say.
yeah, but
That's definitely safe to
but
say.
Gino's great. I love Gino. And yeah, I mean, it was an awkward spot, but you know how NFL fan bases are hyper reactive, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, like I said, Grant hit the nail on the head. Sometimes the Giant fans, when they know you're a West Virginia fan and you have players playing, like they'll tell you, like when they're disappointed, the guy, like, "God, I thought you said David Sills was good. I thought you
Yeah,
said Mark Lewinsky was the next great right guard." I'm like, listen, I'm just excited that I see
exactly.
dudes who played for the brand playing for the Giants. I'm sorry that they didn't pan out. So sometimes it's exciting when the guys come and play for the Giants, but other times it's almost like a blessing and a curse if that makes sense. Guys, the last guy I want to talk about is Bryce Ford-Wheaton because he's currently on the roster right now, and he had an injury before the season in preseason camp. You saw him make the play on special teams. He's been a guy that's been a gunner. He had that play against Cleveland 2 years ago where he blocked the kick and returned it for a touchdown. What do you guys think Bryce Ford-Wheaton's future is with the Giants moving forward since he's a West Virginia alumni?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done some positive things. Obviously, had a touchdown for the Giants this past season, but I think the biggest thing is going to be his health, right? I mean, moving forward, I mean that's the one problem that's kind of it's lingered for him is him staying healthy. So if he can stay healthy, I think he has a shot to do some things.
To piggyback off what Amit's saying is he's got to stay healthy. That's the number one thing. I think that the Giants obviously have Malik Neighbors. They're probably going to be looking to re-sign Wandale Robinson. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Gunnar Olszewski, right? He's a great special teamer, and that's another way that Bryce can make the roster. So, as if he can stay healthy, he's got a great chance. But he's got to do that. He's got to do that.
Absolutely. Gotta stay healthy. All right, guys, let's talk about the glory days real quick, and then we're going to talk about how much it changed, unfortunately. So, once upon a time, gentlemen, we were riding high. Especially these were like some of the best times in our lives because we were young gentlemen at the time, right? They were talking high school years, college years, right? So, 2007, 2008, West Virginia wins the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, right? That was coached by Bill Stewart because Rich Rodriguez left, but they still ended up beating Oklahoma and had a great win. And then just a few months later, the New York Giants make the improbable run and knock off the New England Patriots, undefeated team. And then just years later, when we're in college, West Virginia puts a 70-point performance up against Clemson. And then the New York Giants win their second Super Bowl in 4 years. Guys, what happened?
It's a great question. But yeah, no, I think it was an exciting time span. Obviously, Pat White and that team, Pat White going 3-0 in the BCS games. And then, I didn't know I was going to go to West Virginia at the time of the Fiesta Bowl, but obviously, I was very into that team. I think everybody was who followed college football because they were just so exciting to watch. And then, that first Super Bowl beating the Patriots was so exciting with Eli Manning and that David Tyree catch and then Plaxico Burress at the end. I mean, great memory for Giants fans. And then the Orange Bowl was my sophomore year, and I was there. It was it was amazing to witness that in person. And then the second one, I mean, I didn't think a lot of Giants fans really kind of expected that one, but it was a great experience again.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part for us to swallow, guys, is that we were once two proud brands of football. When I went to West Virginia and committed there, I'm still so proud that I'm a West Virginia alumni. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel dedicated to it for crying out loud. And I'm also a very proud Giants fan. And it's been tough for me because I'm a fourth grade teacher. And, these kids, these young generation of fans, both for Giants and West Virginia, aren't going to have good memories of their teams growing up. Grant, what are your thoughts on these times and just like what's happened to the brand over the last few years?
So to answer your question about what's happened, I mean, I think first you got to look at at coaching. Right when we were in high school and West Virginia was good and the Giants were good, we had established legends in there as in the coaching staff. Same thing with 2012. People, I don't know if the fan base is indifferent towards him, but I'd love Dana Holgerson. Um, that was
Yeah. So
Dana or no? Or that's
yeah,
pre-Dana.
nope. Dana was there. My first year there. So
Okay, yeah.
he won the Orange Bowl.
So that was the
Um,
year before I got there. So the West Virginia fans don't think I'm a phony. But
Yeah, we're giant. We're Jersey guys. So like we didn't have like college established roots until we went to school there.
right, right.
So that's the biggest thing. Once we get to campus, though, we're locked in. But yeah, Dana Holgerson does have a very interesting history with West Virginia, right? It's because I think a lot of people would take his years back in a heartbeat, especially with where we're at now.
I love Dana Holgerson, man. I thought that he did a real good job of putting the program in a position to be competitive all the time.
His problem is that the people he followed. I mean, he's following Rich Rodriguez and Bill Stewart, who had a lot of success. And
Right.
for the fans at the time, like we made that transition to the Big 12. And at the time, we were used to getting 10, 11 wins every season.
Yeah.
Then you get 7 or 8 and fans are freaking out. Now we're down to like 4 or 6 this season. So in hindsight, you look back at guys like Dana Holgerson or Skylar Howard at quarterback, and you would take them back. Kind of how the – go ahead, Grant.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No worries.
and if we're being frank here, it was another world when West Virginia was playing in the Big East Conference, right?
Yeah.
So 9-10 wins is a lot harder to come by today, as everyone knows. But man, I love Dana, man. He did a good job of giving us a chance every week.
Yeah, so we had go ahead.
I was
Emmett.
saying, with Dana, I mean, I loved like just watching him on the sidelines and everything. Very entertaining coach. I think the problem was just him in the big games, right? I mean, like the Oklahoma State game comes to mind for me with Will Greer, that team. I mean, you win that, right? Regardless of what happens the following week against Oklahoma, you're in the Big 12 championship game. So, I mean, that was my biggest problem with Dana, is just winning the big games in the Big 12.
Yeah, the 11-point loss, or so they had 11-point lead with like 4 minutes left and blew that game. I'm not sure. That loss might have been worse than like Giants Eagles. Like
That
when
was
they
TCU, right?
that was another. So Oklahoma State was a really bad blown loss. TCU when game day was there was a really bad blown loss.
That's the one I remember. That one killed me. TCU at home.
Well, all our friends were down for Halloween weekend. We didn't even go out afterwards. We just went to sleep. We were like, we're done. The town was dead.
They were winning 30-21, and I remember I looked up at the clock, and I'm thinking like all we need is a couple first downs, maybe another field goal to go make them score 2 touchdowns, and
people forget TCU did the exact same thing 2 years prior. They had Boykin, and that game went to overtime, and we lost a heartbreaker. Yep. So a few times TCU was a thorn on their side. Anyway, guys, back to our point. These are good memories. These were good, solid memories. I wouldn't trade these years for anything, especially those Orange Bowls and those Super Bowls. Like those mean so much to me. But then we have to talk about the negatives, guys, which is this. And this has been absolutely brutal. So being a West Virginia and Giants fan, like I said, we pride ourselves on our logos. I love these teams right here, but let's not kid ourselves. It's been a brutal last decade for these teams. I mean, it's been absolutely brutal. Like every week, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, I get angry. I'm like, well, at least there's Sunday. And then Sunday, I get even more angry. And it seems like a lot of the issues that the Giants and West Virginia have had over the years have been very similar. Defense can't get stops when they need. The offensive line has been dreadful for both teams. And you have a dejected fan base that looks like this at the bottom of the screen. Again, I've mentioned this a few times. I actually think that's me in that photo wearing the 10 jersey right there. I think that was me at the Kansas State game one of those years. I think that's
actually
that's me. I actually think that's me. Yeah, I'm almost positive.
I think I'm the Giants one. No, I'm just kidding.
So, guys, let's talk about this. Just from our perspective, to vent a little bit before we get into the hopeful days, the future. How brutal has it been for you guys to go through this with both your alumni and your alma mater, West Virginia, and your beloved New York Giants?
I mean, for me, it's been brutal. I mean, watching, West Virginia on Saturday, usually, underperforming, and then the Giants on Sunday in almost the same fashion sometimes. It's kind of been, it's been difficult. I mean, see the Giants only making the playoffs twice in like the last, whatever, how many years, right? So, yeah,
2
years. Yeah. 2 times and however long. And then, going through 4 coaches in that time span as well it's insane, right? And I think there's a lot of optimism today because the future looks much brighter than it's been.
Yeah, if you look at the Giants, they've made 2 playoff appearances in the last 10 years, and the West Virginia has had losing seasons 5 out of the last 6 years, which is I can't even believe that I'm saying that. It makes me almost want to puke. Grant, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'd be lying to you if I said it hasn't affected my mental health. Um, you,
Grant wears his losses harder than anybody I know.
it drives me crazy when you're talking about waking up on Saturday and then not having a Sunday. How about waking up in October and not having a November, December, January?
Yeah, I think it's a great point, man. How many times have we been pretty much after the first week of October been like, "Yep, football season's over. What's next? Hockey?"
Nah, yeah, I
you
can't do
know,
it. I can't try to pretend that winter sports care as much to me. I love the Knicks and the Rangers both, but it does not wear as much to me as West Virginia football and the Giants.
Yeah, it definitely stinks too. Like when West Virginia basketball is not performing well because they've had 4 coaches in the last 4 years. Ross Hodge, speaking of him, has done some decent things. They have a huge game Saturday versus Colorado. We'll be here to do the post game show as always, so definitely check us out on there. But yeah, it's been brutal, guys. Let's talk some happier thoughts. Let's talk about the good news. Well, actually, hold on before we. The reason why we stink is these guys. All right,
That's
real
not
quick.
happy.
Who was the worst? Okay, let's say who is the worst coach out of all these guys, and then we'll move on.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I'm gonna say Joe Judge.
Joe Judge is for
Joe
me.
Judge. His press conferences were absolutely brutal. Like they would lose like 49-0 and be like, "We're closer than we are far away." I'm like, bro, we just ran a quarterback sneak on 4th and 15. What are you talking about? They made Neil Brown look like he was like a good candidate. For me, Joe Judge was the worst.
Yeah, I'd agree. McAdoo at least made the playoffs, right? I mean, they lost to the Packers, but at the I mean,
Joe
not McAdoo,
Judge
I'm
is the
sorry.
worst.
Yeah.
McAdoo. Here's the thing. I liked
Joe
the 2 coaches I liked. I liked McAdoo and I liked Daboll. I wish so badly it worked with Daboll. I like him as a person, although I did hear that he was interviewing for the Philadelphia's offensive coordinator job today, so that don't like that. But I like those guys. Like I thought they got rid of McAdoo too quick, and I wanted it to work for Daboll, but at a certain point when they lost that Denver game, and then they lost the blown leads in all these games, the writing was on the wall. You could not bring him back. Go ahead, Grant. It was Judge the worst?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to blurt that out, but yeah, Joe Judge was awful, as Owen is saying as well. Man, that guy was the worst. Can we rank him real quick?
Yeah, well, I mean, Spagnuolo, you can't really rank. I mean, he's obviously won because of his defensive coordinator spot.
Look,
I would probably say, I don't know, Matt. It's a tie between McAdoo and Daboll for me at 2.
yeah, and then probably which is crazy. Probably Neil Brown's probably 3rd.
Yeah, dude, you know what's funny? Like, I kind of feel bad for Neil Brown, and that might be a hot topic. Like, dude, let's give this guy a little bit of a pass. The Giants coaches, there's no excuse. You are a Giants coach. There's salary cap. Like, you should be good. Like Neil Brown's working with guys were hitting the portal before like the portal was even a thing, and we were losing out on NIL money. Like some of the stuff was out of his control. Now I hated his press conferences. I don't think his teams got better and things like that, but he did have a really difficult situation he got thrown into.
Do McAdoo and Daboll get any credit for at least getting the Giants to the playoffs? I mean,
yeah, that's why I think for me, that's why they're ranked at number 2.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean,
like I said, I wanted to work with both those guys. I thought that originally they were great hires. Pat Shurmur and Joe Judge and Kafka, they're definitely in that bottom tier.
To go back to way earlier when we were talking about the Geno Smith thing, I think that had McAdoo not benched Eli, he probably would have gotten another season because he won 11 games.
Yeah, the
year
Giants
before.
don't just fire. Like, I mean, it sounds like ridiculous when you see this graphic, but like the Giants usually don't just fire coaches like right away. They usually try to. I mean, they try to make it work with Daboll. But Joe Judge was such a disaster. Like there was no way they could bring him back. And same thing with like Neil Brown. Like Neil Brown that last year, after year 6 or year 7, after all that hype, there was just no way the fans were gonna have him come back. There was just absolutely no way.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, let's change gears. All right. So we've been talking 25 minutes. We have not talked about these guys at all. And this is like the premise of the show. So guys, John Harbaugh today gets announced as the New York Giants head coach. Me and Amit did a show a few weeks ago, and they asked who I want. I said Harbaugh. No doubt we all agreed. This was the only hire that could have worked for the Giants, in my opinion, to change the ship around the team. To me, it has a similar feel as Rich Rodriguez getting hired, right? Even though the West Virginia struggled this year with Rich Rod, I think with these guys, you have two proven coaches, especially with Harbaugh with the track record at the Ravens. Then you have Rich Rod, the success he had at West Virginia and where he's won before. I think things are looking up for our programs based on these hires. What do you guys think?
I would say I agree. I think Harbaugh it's a different situation for me because I mean the college football has changed so much, so I need to see Rich Rod can do it in this era. To be honest, compared to what obviously we've seen his success in the past, but can he do it in 2026? Right? With Harbaugh, I mean, he's been a winning coach. He's been a Super Bowl coach. I mean, he's been established, and I think they were definitely going to go the experience route this time. I think we all agreed on that. I mean, they were going to go first time coordinator. So yeah, I think they wanted like that CEO type of coach who's going to come in and run the show his way. So I think it's a win for the Giants.
Graham, I'm sure you've been itching all night to talk about this. What are your just the thoughts on Harbaugh and the Giants and turning the ship around?
Oh, I mean, obviously, it was very important to get someone like Harbaugh into the building. We have finally a well-respected coach and a guy that I think is going to be able to take care of our first-round quarterback in Jackson Dart. So it's as big as a day in Giants' recent history as ever, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point, and so do you, Grant. It is different, right? The college and things are different, but I do think as someone who can run a program and get things going in the right direction, both these guys, based on the pedigree and the way they run the program, I think both of our programs that we love are in good hands. All right, let's just break down Harbaugh real quick, and then we'll move on. Super Bowl champion, 4 AFC championships appearances, 12 playoff appearances, 6 AFC North titles, and he's only finished 500 or below in 15 seasons. So, guys, this guy is legit. This is the biggest win for the Giants have had probably since we knocked off the Vikings in the playoffs 3 years ago. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the last time we found joy because we lost the Eagles after that. So, yeah, no, it's been tough. But I mean, yeah, even this season, I mean, the Ravens weren't great, but 8-9, we probably kill for that right now, right? So, I mean, he's been proven to win, and I think you had to go experience this time, and I'm super excited because I think there's some stability finally with the program. Like this is the guy that's going to be there for a while.
I think the floor is definitely raised for the Giants now, right? And people are like,
100%.
"Oh, you're not going to win the Super Bowl." I'm like, I don't even need to see a Super Bowl. I just need to see the team be decent for a few seasons, baby steps. So just, Grant, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that people forget sometimes that only one team out of 32 can win the Super Bowl every year. So, yeah, obviously I'm not expecting this guy to come in and win the Super Bowl his first year, but I'm excited to have, someone in there that's going to just give us a shot. And I think Harbaugh obviously does that. And to continue, he was 8-9 this season, and Lamar Jackson was not healthy, so their whole team was injured. So I think that the Giants with Dart in there and hopefully another weapon in the offseason, they're gonna the ceiling or the future's bright and the expectations are high.
So we have a West Virginia comment. If only Sig was dominating in the group of 5 back in 2018, we probably would have had him said. Yeah, could you imagine right now if West Virginia had Signetti and,
Man.
and the Giants had Harbaugh? That would be a great debate. Which one's the better coach?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Signetti, he's at Indiana. And I think Tony Caridi mentioned this on the show the other day. I think people forget that, West Virginia did fire his dad, all those years ago. So that, who knows if he would have even wanted to come to West Virginia. I mean, he is West Virginia alumni, and he's the best coach in football, bar none, right now as far as the college level. I'm not sure if he would have came to West Virginia. Obviously, we would have hoped he would have, because that would have definitely changed the program around. But yeah, just a tough call. All right, guys, let's talk about this, and then we'll get out of here for tonight. So we mentioned both teams, right? We talked about West Virginia in depth tonight. We talked about the Giants. We talked about the good times. We've talked about the bad times. And we've talked about the future. Let's take a look at the near future for the schedules for next season and just your expectations for both teams. And then we'll get out of here. All right. So West Virginia next year, take the schedule with a grain of salt. They have not announced the Big 12 slate yet. We know the opponents, but we don't know the order yet. So the first 3 games are set in the non-conference, but the dates should be getting announced any day now for who we are playing and when next season. So let's talk about the schedule real quick with West Virginia first, then we'll talk the Giants. So Coastal Carolina in week 1, week 2, UT Martin. Week 3, a very interesting game in Charlotte, North Carolina. They take on the Virginia Cavaliers, who had their first 10-win season in memory. They just got Bo Prabula and Eli Holstein out of the portal. They're a team with a lot of momentum, so that should be interesting. Our good friend Greg Medea covers them, who's also a Giants fan, by the way. Then you get Iowa State, who is in a total rebuild. They have the most players in the portal out of anybody this offseason. No Rocco Becht, no Matt Campbell there. That could be a winnable game. At TCU is going to be tough. At Texas Tech, obviously, is going to be tough. They were amazing this year. At Utah, but Utah's going through a coaching change. Arizona and Rodney Gallagher are coming to Morgantown next year. They've gained a lot of positive momentum. And then you get the Houston Cougars, who we beat last year, but they've been playing good ball. You get Oklahoma State, who might as well be called the Oklahoma State Mean Green with all the North Texas guys they got. So they're going to be talented next year and developed. And then we play Kansas at home next year. And if you saw, Trey Lathan announced today that he's going back to Kansas. And then you get Cincinnati. Hopefully they put that on rivalry week. Guys, what are your expectations for the Mountaineers next season? Prefacing this, they've had a very good high school recruiting class, top 25 in the nation. The last I checked, West Virginia was top 15 according to On3 in their transfer portal class, although the momentum has slowed down. Guys, what are your expectations for West Virginia next year as far as the season in year 2 of Rich Rod?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done some decent things recruiting. I think, next year is a big year, though. I need to see the results on the field. I mean, we've talked about kind of the win total, but I think 7-8 wins, I mean, for sure, has to be some sort of progress, right, on the field. So I think you got to take it, week by week. Coastal, I mean, I'm not going to overlook Coastal, to be honest, after the Ohio game this past season. Don't want to overlook anyone. So I think that's a kind of a nice game to start the year. I think Virginia is going to be a good measuring stick for the program in Charlotte, a neutral site territory. A talented team, obviously made the ACC championship game this season. And then I think the road slate's pretty tough. I mean, obviously Texas Tech is, going to be extremely good again. And then, TCU's never easy. And then we'll see with Utah, I'm sure not an easy place to play as well, right? But Oklahoma State, I think, is going to be very much improved. I really do. I mean, obviously the quarterback that they have coming in is very, very, very good and one of the best in the country. So I think, you need to see some progress next year, but I think there are a lot of winnable games as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll tell you what, Mitt, with the way it's working right now with the transfer portal and group of 5 teams getting picked apart, I don't think West Virginia should ever lose to a group of 5 team ever again. I truly think it's unacceptable if we lose to a team that is getting their roster gutted each and every year. Grant, what are your thoughts on West Virginia for next year?
You stole the words out of my mouth. I just want to see them start 2-0 and try to get the momentum rolling. Cannot afford to lose to either Coastal Carolina or UT Martin. I feel like that kind of threw a wrench in our season this year. You want to keep the vibes high in the locker room and good spirits, and starting 2-0 or even 3-0 with a win against Virginia will be great for us rolling into conference play. So I hope they win, I don't know, let's say 8 games next year.
I think especially with a lot of the changes that are happening, Oklahoma State, new coach, Kansas lost Jaden Daniels, even though they're getting Kotelnicki back, he's gone. Cincinnati lost Sorsby. He's gone. Utah has a new coaching staff. Iowa State has a new coaching staff. TCU's quarterback, Hoover, in the portal, went to Indiana. Right. So they're Iowa State total rebuild. So a lot of the teams that we're facing have turmoil, and this isn't going to be Rich Rod year one now. They were able to identify guys they wanted the portal. It seems like they're in a much better place. Let's go win 8 games next year, Grant. I'm with you there. All right, now let's shift gear to the Giants. So I think the Giants are set up very well. I think there's a reason Harbaugh took this job, because the roster is there. They just need a coach that knows what he's doing and has done this before. Next year, you get the Cowboys, the Eagles, Washington, Cleveland, Saints, Cardinals, San Fran, the Jags, and the Titans at home. So it looks like you're going to play the NFC West, and then you're going to play the AFC South. The last time we did that, I think we made the playoffs, actually. Cowboys, Eagles, Washington, Lions, Texans, Colts, Rams, Seahawks on the road. That's a tough road schedule. Guys, expectations for the Giants next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a team that can compete for the division. I really do. I mean, like, the Eagles obviously lost in the playoffs this past week, so I think it's a winnable division. And kind of the NFC East, I think, took a step back, to be honest, this season. Obviously, the Cowboys are the Cowboys, so you never know what's going to happen with them. And the Commanders took a step back as well, so we'll see what happens with them moving forward. But I think there's a lot of winnable games on the schedule as well. Plus, as you mentioned, I think the pieces are there, right? It's a matter of, can they stay healthy, right? I mean, that's what the problem was this season with, only having Neighbors, Scatterboo, and Dart play a handful of games together, right? So if those guys stay healthy, obviously, I think the sky's the limit. And then defensively, you have a bunch of good players. Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, a lot of guys. So
Brian Burns.
Yeah, Brian Burns, right? So, I think you can compete for the division. I really do. I really think that.
Go ahead, Grant. You're if the season ticket holders, they're probably the sales reps probably calling you right now. How many wins can we expect for the Giants next year? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm gonna hope that the Giants win. I'm looking at the schedule. We got a lot of winnable home games, but the road schedule is really looking tough as of now.
Ooh, did he?
Yeah, I think we kind of lost him there.
Oh man. Man.
I think 8 or 9 wins though is possible.
He was literally about to give us.
Yeah.
He was literally about to give. That was terrible timing. Oh man. I'm gonna say Grant. He was about to make some great points too. He was about to go in. He's probably waiting all night to do that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that stinks. I don't know what happened there. All right, I think that's all we got, unfortunately. So listen, guys, again, I really appreciate all the support. Like I said, we are a West Virginia channel, and we will always be a West Virginia channel. But once in a blue moon, maybe we'll do a little bit of Giant stuff, just because we are the JerseyEer show. We're West Virginia alumni, but we're also huge Giant fans. So once in a while, we'll try to tie it in together. But again, big week coming up in a minute. Let's talk about this real quick. All right. So tomorrow night, Pitt, West Virginia, backyard brawl wrestling, must watch TV if you're a Mountaineer fan. I don't care what sport it is. I don't care if it's tic-tac-toe. I don't care if it is duck, duck, goose. I want to beat Pitt. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Top 25 matchup too. Let's go.
22 versus number 15 tomorrow. Grant's right? Back. You got the squiggly line. And then also we mentioned Saturday, Colorado versus Colorado, West Virginia basketball. How important is that game for West Virginia Mountaineers on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's big. I mean, you want to bounce back and protect home court. And those are the games that are going to matter, right, moving forward, I think massively, right? So I think Colorado has had some bad losses, to be honest, this season. So I think it's a very winnable game. And I think we have Grant back.
All right, Grant. Go ahead. You were doing your thing there. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. So I'm hoping the Giants can obviously get us back into a playoff picture. I'm expecting the Giants to win 9 games. That's my expectations. I'm hoping that they can win, say, 6 at home, 5 or 6 at home, and 3 or 4 on the road.
I'll sign up for that right now. That sounds a lot better than the alternative. Yeah. So I want to take my boys to a Giants game next year, man. They're 4-2, and they're starting to get into it a little bit, and I want them to have good memories. So I think next year might be the year to take my boys up to see the Giants, and hopefully a West Virginia game too as well. I didn't get down there this year, but want to spread the word about JerseyEer down there. All right, guys. Like we mentioned, please like and subscribe to the show. As we mentioned, this was a lot of fun tonight. Again, we're a West Virginia-based channel. We will always be a West Virginia-based channel. almost all the content is going to be West Virginia, but once in a while we might sprinkle or dabble some Giants in here and there. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching the show. Watch the Backyard Brawl wrestling match tomorrow and watch the basketball game on Saturday versus Colorado. Sweet throwback uniforms. We'll talk to you next time on the JerseyEer Show.